A person of great wisdom. Everything he does is in complete accordance with God's will. Every action he takes is done according to God's will. For example, when Isaac decided to give his blessing to Esau, Rebekah displayed great wisdom. Rebekah understood that the blessing was not meant to go to him, was not meant for him, but should have been given to Jacob. So she dared to defy her husband, and then helped her son Jacob to secure the blessing for him. All because she recognized that it was in God's plan. Jacob even said, "If that's the case, if my father finds out, I won't receive the blessing, but instead it will bring a curse." Without hesitation, Rebekah said, "Even if a curse were to come upon me." He went ahead with bravery and determination. We understood that Isaac's blessing for Jacob could never result in a curse. Now, let's take a look at what comes next. There was a man, namely Jacob, when he blessed his own son Joseph, he truly acted according to God's will, not according to his own desires. Let's reflect on Jacob's faith as described in Hebrews. Jacob, by faith. Whose faith was in whom? He trusted in God even in his final moments, blessing Joseph's sons, and even using his staff to worship God. So, why did he specifically bless Joseph's sons? He had 12 sons. So why did he choose to bless only the sons of Joseph? It was because he poured his whole heart into blessing them. Because when it came to his son Joseph, at the age of 17, Joseph had 2 dreams. These 2 dreams were from God, signifying that Joseph would become the chief among his 12 brothers. That is, the firstborn among them, the most esteemed of the 12. Both dreams carried this message. And later, as it turned out, they were fulfilled. Sure enough, Joseph was sold into Egypt. Sold into Egypt. It all came to pass. Decades later, around 20 years on, the Israelites went down to Egypt. At that time, Joseph indeed rose to become the foremost among his brothers. He became Egypt's patriotic prime minister. And because of him, the house of Israel multiplied greatly in Egypt. Thus, the Israelites multiplied in Egypt. The entire family of Israel was given a place to settle because of Joseph, and because of him, they did not perish during the years of famine. In fact, during those years, they flourished in Egypt. Logically speaking, in a time of famine, one would expect fewer people, right? But God's wondrous ways are truly marvelous. Even in the years of famine, God caused the Israelites to prosper and multiply greatly in Egypt. Moreover, in Egypt, in a foreign land, there was a region called Goshen, a land known as Goshen, where they tended flocks, and where they thrived and multiplied. This was all because Joseph served as Egypt's prime minister. Thus, even though Joseph was not the firstborn, he effectively fulfilled the role of the firstborn. Moreover, it perfectly aligned with the 2 dreams he had at 17. So Jacob deeply understood that the years of prominence truly belonged to Joseph. Even though Joseph was merely one of the 12 sons, he deeply understands the birthright indeed went to Joseph. Although Joseph was just one of 11 sons, he was not the true firstborn, but he understood how to transfer the birthright to him. So before Joseph and Jacob passed away, just before he died, he then disobeyed by letting Joseph receive 2 tribes, which were the 2 tribes of Manasseh and Ephraim. A wise person acts. He will not go against God's will. He followed God's will to bless Joseph. As it says here, at the end of his life, Jacob blessed Joseph's sons, and he worshipped God while holding his staff, blessing Joseph's 2 sons, saying, to let Joseph receive 2 tribes means that the 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, originally belonged to Joseph. But now they should not be in Joseph's name. They must be under Jacob's name. Being under Joseph's name would only get 1 tribe. But under Jacob's name, they received 2 tribes, becoming Jacob's 2 sons, thus receiving 2 tribes. So, why did he worship God holding his staff? Because Joseph promised to bring Jacob back to Canaan for burial when Jacob died. Because when Jacob left Canaan, God said Joseph would personally close his eyes and bring him back to Canaan for burial. And indeed later, Joseph swore to bring Jacob back to Canaan for burial. This was truly fulfilled. When Jacob was old, leaving Canaan, God would personally bring Jacob back to Canaan for burial. It's truly amazing. God's works are great and wonderful. Amen.